I'm going to start this evening and I'm going to talk to our students because I know our students are paying attention to these videos. Listen, we all need the school, the teachers, parents. We need you all to start holding yourselves accountable for the things you do. No matter what we as parents, teachers do, you're going to have to take responsibility for yourself. We have 4 days left. These next 4 days, let's make these 4 days be a time we can come to Stone Mountain High School and we can say we have model students. There's too much pettiness. There's too much anger. There's too much jealousy. And I think a lot of it comes from all the different ways everybody carry themselves and the way they are dressed. I am a firm believer in structure. And I think that one thing they need to work very hard on for next year is the students being in uniform. Because if the kids are all dressed the same, they have some structure, then you don't have the young lady over there who's dressed this way and the young lady who would like to be dressed this way, who can't afford to dress that way, whatever it may be. The young men coming in dressed like young men with their uniforms on, fitting them the correct way. This is something we really need to talk about, because coming up into that school and you look at the way everybody is dressed, it's really a situation. So thank you very much, Dr. Ziegler, for letting parents know at the beginning of the year that DeKalb County is not a mandatory uniform county. But some schools still have made their schools mandatory. And if Dr. Jones cared anything about these students at his school and had been straight up about education, and I'm going to say it again, not a paycheck. And so this time I can explain to you why. Governor Deal just gave raises to the school. And I'm going to tell you, there are some teachers and coaches in this school that really deserve them, because they go far and beyond what a teacher, some of them take on the role of parents. Some of them are guidance counselors, in which that's not their title, but they do everything they need to do for that student. And may God bless you, and thank you very much for what you do. If nobody have ever said it, you all know who I'm talking to. Thank you very much. And so with this, I'm going to call a few names. Well, first I'm going to talk about Honors Day. Honors Day. I wasn't there for Honors Day. But when I got to the school, there was so much chaos going on. And the reason for the chaos was parents was hurt. Students was hurt. There were students who was given a slip to invite their parents out for the awards day. Okay, 13 students that we know that I spoke to invited their parents. The parents left work to come to this ceremony because, my child is receiving an award. And then these kids are sitting there with this paper that they have in their hand that they're receiving an award, and they didn't receive an award. They were told that they were sorry. This what was told to them from the front office. They were sorry. They didn't print off enough awards. Well, Dr. Jones was at the award ceremony, but when he seen the parents looking around and you could look at the expressions of everybody, as the kids say, he got ghost. And when I say he got ghost, Dr. Jones left the school campus. All the parents there upset. They have these questions they needed answering. He was nowhere to be found. And so that's what he do. he wouldn't have been at the awards ceremony probably in the beginning if it hadn't been for all the emails that have come in about his absentees. So, students, parents, now it's set up where you can come on and you can comment about all this. Anything that you need to get off your chest, you need to express about how Stone Mountain is being ran, come on the blog and put on there what need to be told. And witness parents who showed up and their children didn't receive their awards, come out on June 12th to the school board meeting. And I'm going to try to be there with Stone Mountain t-shirts for all the parents to put on, so we can go in numbers and we can let them know that our children make a difference. You know, I can't understand why it's so difficult to have someone at the school who really care. You know, they be giving these students all these crazy reasons why they're failing. How would you feel if you was in Miss Yila's class, and I'm going to spell her name because I probably messed it up, Yilla. You left school on Thursday and you had an 88. You get back to school on Friday, your grades have dropped down to a 78, or you have an 82. And then you go in, because I'm talking about the day before the seniors, Thursday, before their last day, Friday. I'm talking about on the 18th of this month. And their last day is Friday. And you find out, oh, I'm failing the class. Because now, for some reason, zeros have come about. That wasn't there the whole time you've been there, because you have had 80s, 90s. And then all of a sudden, when it really matters, you have zeros putting in. Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. Everybody who passes Mrs. Banks in the next 4 days, give her a hug. Or if you can't hug her, don't hug her, because that might be wrong. I don't know. But tell her thank you. Because all day on Friday, she was walking students back and forth to the counselor's office, back and forth, getting these grades put together. She's the co-teacher in the room with Miss Yilla. She was explaining to her, you had some kids who came in 2, 3, 4 weeks after they had already started the class. They are exempt from what you had already taught. She's trying to explain this to her. But Miss Yilla, she don't want to hear that. Well, I'm going to be the one to say thank you very much for what you've done, because you went in and you corrected a lot of students' grades. And I'm going to tell the rest of the students who's having the same issue, because I'm really having issues with, if these teachers don't know how to put grades in, why are they at this school? I said earlier, Dr. Jones have his team. And his team seems to be all the teachers that have no regards for these young men and young women at the school. So I'm going to say to you, students and parents, find that teacher at that school who care. Take your grades to them. Well, like I said now, it don't work with everybody, because when we was dealing with Mr. C and another teacher walked in his room, he was very bold about it. They are not an administrator. They are not over me. They are the same as I. And all of you can get out of my room. You know what? After he put a parent out of his classroom, told her to get out, started screaming and yelling, he shouldn't have been there the next day anyway. And I'm going to tell you again, if any of you athletes is failing his class, get it taken care of now. Because once that permanent grade is in, It's harder to get that permanent grade changed. If you haven't checked out all your information on yourself, and when they tell you you're passing, make sure you take a picture of it. Because it seems like some of the teachers there is playing on the same program Dr. Jones is playing on. So I want you all to take your time, find out where you stand, and make sure you get what you have earned. Why teachers would do that, I have no idea. But see, when you have an administration that don't care, they don't have to do what is required. And I think the state need to come in and look into this. And now teachers, I have met some of the best teachers there at Stone Mountain. Like I say, they have heart. They give all they can. Some of them I've seen feeding kids that don't have money, making sure when they leave there in the evening that they have a meal that they can take home with them to have afterwards. But I know Dr. Jones don't know this is going on in his school, because you know why? For the entire year up to 4 weeks now ago, he's always been an absentee principal. So I'm going to say teachers who's doing everything they can here at this school, we're going to find out what steps can be taken to make sure, if you need to speak out about the administration there at Stone Mountain, that you don't have to worry about retaliation, because that Dr. Jones, he can retaliate, and we see it firsthand. I've had a parent to call me because I'm on the Booster Club. She wanted to know, why is it now that the seniors can't walk because they owe dues for football? All year long it have been said that you can't penalize these kids for not paying a dues, because there's no participation dues, but you pay for everything you use throughout the year. Well, what are these kids going to pay for? Because they didn't receive nothing through the football season. Dr. Jones did not give 1 penny to football. They didn't have uniforms. They went on the fields, their uniforms, they was old, they was raggedy, they was dirty, everything. And then he's going to say they're going to pay for something. Their banquet, it did not come out of Booster Club money where the kids who could pay did pay. It came out of parents' pockets for their banquet. We had kids who are seniors. They never received a trophy. Now, don't get me wrong. 1, 2, 3 years ago, the coaches was doing all this, and they was doing the very best that they could. And so, because they still wasn't receiving money for football, you go out there and you play a game, and you are practicing, and you don't even have lines on your field. The whole season, it got lined at the end of the year. But it's so amazing. We was just told in a Booster Club meeting that Dr. Jones had promised money to the football team now because he handpicked his coach. We have an interim coach. And so with our interim coach, what's going to happen? Let me see. He handpicked him, so he's going to take care of him. But what about our kids that can't walk? And what hurt us so bad about this situation is that the reason it's such a big situation is we put in requisitions to have fundraisers at the school where we had bought stuff, spent our own money like we do always since football season, to make sure that all the seniors' dues was paid. You know what? Dr. Jones never got back with us. But you know what he's doing now? He's telling the parents the reason he need this money is because one of our coaches, Coach Ingram, didn't do what he was supposed to do. Coach Ingram, I'm sorry, but didn't do what he was supposed to do. But you're taking money from him out his check. Yeah, we get the news. We didn't get it from him because you know what? We know you're going to retaliate. That's what you do. But Parents, listen to me. It's not about Coach Ingram, the reason he's taking this money. It's despite the whole football administration that was there before. You know, it's bad when people dislike people and you make stuff personal, because this is personal. It can't be anything but personal. Anybody disagree with me? Go on there, put what you have to say. But see, I've been sitting on the sideline the whole time watching this. And when the parents is calling, because I put my phone number up there, 404-933-9353. You can have that number because you can call me, say whatever you want to say. But remember, my phone is always on record. Just remember that. And I will post you. But I'm going to say to you, until everything is rectified at that school, nothing good is going to happen at our school. And so there's almost a confirmation out of 210 seniors. 82 is graduating. And the rest of them is failing because they didn't have grades put in. Or some of them is failing because they failed. Don't get me wrong. And then we lost all of our seniors for football because they was we don't have a team. And so this is what not having a head of a school would do. Who is the seniors on the field that's going to help our young men coming in? So we're going to have another season like we had last year, where we have 9th and 10th graders going out there. I don't want nobody to misunderstand what I'm saying. These young men are hungry. But still, you need leadership. You always need leadership, because if you didn't, everybody in school the whole 4 years you'll be there, you'll be one and the same. And so I'm going to go and I'm going to have to thank the officers there. Officer Trotter, Officer Chili, Officer Bailey, and Officer Westbrook. And then one parent, Stacy. Every day, after school, you all are there, and you're doing an excellent job. That's why I started this one with our young men and women. We're going to have to hold ourselves accountable for what we do, because they have a life after Stone Mountain, and they really would love to be able to come to school, love on all these kids like they do, and be able to go home sometime with a smile on their face. So thank you all very much for what you do. And we want to make sure at the end of this year, when we get an officer there next year, 2 officers to be exact, that they'll have a squad car, personal vehicles. That's just not it. But like I said, if we get rid of Melvin Johnson, Dr. Melvin Johnson, who have a BBF, Dr. Rachel Ziegler, who is a BBF, Dr. James Jones, who is a BBF, Dr. Cox, who's a BBF, Mr. Ward. You thought you got out way with everything today, didn't you? Mr. Ward, who don't need to be there because you have no clue as to what you were doing. Just walk around, roll your eyes, continue on. I guess you're becoming a BBF also. And then Mr. C, who just have this thing for hatred for young black men who wants to play sports. And then Miss Yowler, who can't seem to understand that you can't pass a kid all year and then at the end of the year, you fail them. Again, June 12th, the board meeting. Try and be there by 5:30. Parents, students, everybody who's concerned. Because we want to show up in numbers. Because if we can get the numbers to show up, we'll get those thrown out. And back again about this raise. See, there's a second part to this raise that Governor Deal gave. He didn't give everybody a lump sum, all their money at one time. He already gave half of it, and the other half is going to come sometime next year. Well, listen. Nobody that I have spoke of deserved those raises. Parents, let's make sure. Because they have made it quite clear. The only thing it's about is the money. So I'm going to tell you to really think about it. And you think about your kids and you think about what your child deserves. Because stuff like Honor Day, that should have never taken place. The 19th, when seniors should have been their last day, Friday, leaving there happy, smiling, a lot of them still don't have their stuff signed off on. Because Dr. Cox says she's not going to do it. Oh, a student, senior, goes to Dr. Cox to be signed off on. And she tells her that she's not able to do it. And the student said, if your job is too much for you, maybe you need to step down and let someone stand in your place that's willing to do their job. Listen, the students are speaking up for themselves. But we're going to find out who we have to go to. The Civil Rights Organization, I think, or maybe EEOC, to find out how these teachers can come out and speak out about what goes on in Stone Mountain High School and not worry about being retaliated against. And so, anybody who have more information, I would like for you to go ahead and post what you have to say. And by the way, the senior parents have been trying to meet with Dr. Jones for their senior meeting because it should have already taken place. What did he do? Not show up and send the assistant principal, Dr. J. White, and everybody know who I'm speaking of because I cannot pronounce her name, met with the parents and stood in for Dr. Jones. Anybody who cared anything about their school would have been there to meet with these parents. But see, when you haven't done what you were supposed to do for 4 years, when you hadn't made sure your house was in order for 4 years, when you haven't been there at the school for 4 years, only 4 weeks, of course you're gonna run. And it's not fair to any of the students there at this school. I'll sign off now. Thank you very much. This is Pamela Williams.